Hey guys, welcome back for another video. I want this video to be pretty brief but also extremely helpful to help you elevate your jersey to puffer jacket. So I released that video a few months ago and I have been honestly just so touched and overwhelmed with the reviews on Etsy and the feedback I've been getting on the sewing pattern. I know a lot of you have been loving it so far, so I wanted to take it up a notch and try to help you out even further so you can perfect the jacket even more. So I've been contacting some customers and helping them out with some of their common challenges, such as zippers and cuffs and so many other things that I wanted to help you with in this video. So let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the actual digital files. So when you purchase the pattern, you're going to receive 3 files. So you have 3 different print options. So you have the wide format option, which I personally always use when I'm creating a jacket, and I recommend. I just go to the print store, tell them to print it on black and white, blueprint paper, you know, just your standard wide format architectural paper. And that's going to be really great because you don't have to sort of put those pieces together like a puzzle like on the letter option. I also have the A0 option, which is helpful for some of the European clients. So that is great. And if you notice on the letter file, this is the first page. So you're gonna have all of your materials needed, as well as on each of the files, you're gonna have little 1-inch, 2-inch squares, as well as a ruler. So what you're gonna wanna do when you print your file is you're gonna wanna measure these to make sure that you have printed correctly. So don't forget to print it at 100% scale. So you're not gonna want to, you know, scale or change the dimensions of this file at all because it's going to mess with your measurements, obviously. So print at 100% scale and make sure to remind the printer to do that if you're printing wide format. As far as the sizes go, the pattern is available in extra small all the way to double XL. And if I zoom in here, you can see that there is the different style of cut lines. So when you're going to be printing your pattern, you're going to be noticing there is different line styles, and whatever size that you choose, say for example it's small, you're going to want to follow the cut lines of this line type for all of the pattern. And don't forget, when you're starting your jersey jacket, you're gonna want to choose a jersey that is at least 2 sizes larger than the end jacket size that you want to make. So if you want to make a medium, make sure your jersey size is at least extra large. So you can go a little bit larger if you want, but think about your jersey as just your material. So you're going to be taking it apart, you're going to be spreading it out, so it is just your material. You're going to want a little extra material so that you could use for your collar. And so I'm going to bring you over to my table to show you what the wide format print looks like. Come with me. So as we can see behind me, I have laid out the wide format version of the sewing pattern. It is quite long, but it's got all your pieces in here, as I mentioned, and I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see here are the different cut lines that are really easy to follow, so you just follow them along. And I wanted to mention, one of the questions I got was, what is this square pattern for? Do I need to cut this out? And the answer is no. This is just for if you choose to do a inside lining pocket, like classic cell phone pocket. This is the approximate placement that you can use as a guide. And the same thing goes for this. This is the front pocket, and these lines you don't need to cut out, but this will help you decide where you want to place your pocket exactly. And if we move along here, you'll notice on each of the pattern pieces I've indicated which piece it is exactly. So this is the jacket left front, and I'm letting you know how much of each material you're going to need to cut out. So for this one, you're going to need 1 of the jersey, 1 of the lining fabric, and 1 of the batting. So that is that. here are all of the rest of your pieces. So another quick tip that I wanted to share is about your quilting. So I've noticed in some of my pattern customers that have created jackets so far, they've made their quilt lines a different color from the color of the jersey. And what I like to do for the cleanest finish is choose thread that is matching as close as possible to the jersey fabric. So for this one, obviously I have the orange and the blue, and I am detail oriented, so I will literally change my thread when I'm quilting the top of this jersey and the bottom of it. So I want this to be blue and this one to be orange, so it's gonna be as seamless as possible. So I really prefer this look, but if it's a style choice, you want to use a different color thread, that is totally up to your creative freedom, and I empower you to do so. Another really great tip that I actually got from a comment on my first video is about a walking foot. So before I was sort of turning my hand crank and my arm was getting a little tired, and I learned about walking feet. Feet, I guess you could call plural, walking feet. And it's really easy to install. You can look on YouTube how to install this onto your machine, but basically it helps just guide thicker fabric through your machine with a little bit more ease. So this is something I would recommend when you're starting to get to those thicker layers of your fabric. You might want to try that out, but again, totally up to you. So some questions I've been getting lately with my jersey to puffer jacket pattern is, how do I put on the zipper and how do I make it line up correctly with the logo? So I'm going to show you guys today how I put on my zipper on the jersey puffer jacket. So no stress, I got you. I'll show you right now. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is take your zipper and turn it around. Place it on one side of your jacket facing down, like so, so that the edge touches the edge of the jersey, right against the logo, making sure it lines up, looks good. And the first thing we're gonna wanna do is pin it in place on one side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna start at the bottom and I'm gonna line it up exactly right here, right where the lining meets the jersey. And I'm going to pin that right there. We're going to continue pinning all the way up. And skip the logo part because that is a little tricky to pin. Make sure to pull and flatten as you go so it's nice and straight. Perfect. And what we can do at the top is, I'll zoom in here, is I like to just fold it down just to get that excess out of the way and try to line it up right at the top there. Perfect. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, now that that's all pinned in place, I'm gonna go ahead and sew the zipper to that top layer. So don't forget at this stage to switch out your presser foot. Your regular presser foot is like this, it's got those two prongs, with the zipper foot. And the zipper foot looks like this, it's just got that one prong. It's gonna help you just fit a little bit better because you're in a tight space when you're sewing a zipper. So this is gonna help you a lot. Can go ahead and sew that. So what I like to do is make sure the zipper foot is pressed right up against my zipper. Okay, so now what we can do is trim off any loose threads, and Churro will be watching guard while I do so. Perfect. Okay, so now what we're gonna wanna do is pin the zipper to the other side. So now that it's sewn onto one side, I'm gonna take that zipper, let's zoom in a bit, and I'm gonna fold it over like so. And because this jersey has a lot of stripes and things like that, I'm gonna want to line those up. So what I'll do is, again, take that zipper, flip it over, and make sure that the lines line up exactly. Boom. And it's gonna be a little awkward, but we're gonna wanna pin it from underneath. That's what I do, at least, because if you pin it while the zipper is still attached, that is going to be your best chances of it lining up perfectly. All right, most of my pins are a little beat up here. Okay. You're going to want to line up each element, so each stripe in this case, at a time. So we see what I'm doing here. I have the zipper like attached on one side here, folding it over. And pinning it on the other side. Making sure to line it up exactly. So now that you've roughly pinned it underneath on the other side, we can unzip and secure the rest of the pins. Also, if you're struggling with the pins at all, which I do sometimes, just one too many stabs after a while, you can use these clips. You can get them on Amazon or wherever. But yeah, basically this stage or step might take you a little bit because it takes a while to get both sides to line up perfectly, but it's worth spending that extra time doing some test zips, adjusting slightly. That is kind of what I do, because you don't want to sew your other side of your zipper and have it not lining up perfectly. That is just a pet peeve for me. So I like to take my time, make sure that both sides are really, really lined up correctly. Okay, so I think I'm at the step where everything's lining up nicely. And we're gonna have to sew the other side. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how everything's lined up so far. So I'm going to unzip. Look at all those guys. So I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and sew the other side in place. Okay, so I think I'm gonna confidently recommend the clips for the zipper part because that was way easier using the clips than the pins. You saw me struggle a little bit more with the pins, and usually I'm a pin girly, but I think for zippers from now on we're gonna always use clips. So that's a note to myself and a note to you. All right, now I'm gonna do a little test zip. Looks good to me. Okay, so now that we have our final zipper side attached to the other side, we can pause the zipper for the moment and we're going to move on to the cuffs. So we're going to want to attach the lining to the outer layer cuff so it has like a nice clean finish on the cuffs, and once we do that we can fold it inside out, and then the final step is hand sewing the lining to the zipper. So I'm going to show you how to do the cuffs, then I'll show you how to do my invisible hand stitch that creates the cleanest finish. So let's do it. All right, so now let's talk cuffs. So a lot of people get confused at this step. So I wanted to help clarify. Basically, the most important thing that you need to know for this step is you need to take your jacket and flip it inside out. So flip it completely inside out and pay attention to the details here. So the lining is on the inside, your sleeves are both on the outside. Okay, then what we're going to want to do, take a sleeve, take this sleeve, like so. We're going to almost put them together like they're one long pipe, like that. So this one coming down, folding. I'll just bring it a little closer here. So we have this edge. This edge is open. This is the wrong side out. And we're going to fold that just a little bit. Place the two seams together. So here's your seam, right? Here's your other seam. And I'm going to place them, boom, together. So it's going to fold up, like make a little lip like that. And we're going to pin all the way along, or clip if you decided that you're a clip person. See how I'm going right ways around? Boom, perfect. Now that we have them attached like that, we're gonna go ahead and head over to the sewing machine and sew that edge. So sew these together. Let's go. So then when you flip your jacket inside out afterwards, it should look like this. And now, so the last step of your jacket, as you can see, looks like this so far. It's very close to being done. So the last phase is basically attaching your lining to your zipper. So you want the lining to fold onto the zipper like this, and then we're going to hand stitch the lining to the zipper. So the first thing I do with this step, let me go down a bit. So the first thing I do with this step is I actually take it from the bottom and I fold it in. So if you have any extra loose threads, which I just noticed, I'll go ahead and trim those. So we're going to take that and we're going to fold it in. See what I'm doing? Fold it in on the bottom, like so. Boom. So once it's like that, I'm going to start pinning, and then I'm going to tuck and fold, and then go all the way up like that. So I'll take my trusty llama pin holder, which I absolutely love, and I'm just gonna pin that in place. So I've pinned it in place just at the beginning, actually. I think you can pin all the way in the beginning, but I think it might be even easier if you just start sewing. So I'm just gonna take a regular needle. This one's like a little bit of a bigger one. Then we're gonna take our matching thread to the zipper, same color as the lining, which is my preference. Now you're gonna want to take like a good amount of thread, so Thread the needle. I like to do about an arm's length. Then we cut. Then what we're going to do is, hopefully you can see, tie a knot at the end with just like around this much left. Got a knot here. Now I'm going to double knot and try to get it around the same spot. So we hold it, and then boom! Got a nice double knot in the same spot, which is wonderful. That should be good. Put our thread away. Now I would say the trickiest part about this phase is not getting your string tangled. So always try to like straighten it out as you go. So we're just basically gonna go ahead and start. You can start from the outside of your jacket. I like to start just below the plastic part at the end of the zipper. Now let's see if I can kind of zoom into what I'm doing here. Okay. On one side. Now, very important, what we're going to do is, and this is the invisible stitch part, so we're going to go parallel to this crease right here, parallel to the crease, and we're going to just take a little segment like that. Pull it through. Now, before you pull it through, put your finger in between. So, in between the two sides, and make sure it doesn't get tangled. So, I'm going to hold it like this. And we're going to pull it through. And do a little tug to tighten. Then what we're going to do is take this and go straight through the other side. Try to go as low as possible, coming on to the other side and not getting, only getting on the zipper ribbon part, pulling that through. Again, I'm going to make sure it doesn't get tangled. Sometimes it does pretty easily. But by putting my fingers there, it helps guide it. tugging to make sure it's snug. And we're going to continue doing that all the way up. So coming through on the other side, like so. Like that. Again, parallel, right? Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Pull. We're gonna take it through to the other side again. Pull. And you see how this is creating a really clean, invisible stitch, or it's starting to. And I'm basically just going to keep repeating this process till I'm all the way at the top of the jacket. I'm going to remove my pin now. Take that. Straight through to the other side. All right, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna keep going and finish both sides, and I'll join you back at the end to show you how it looks. So see you in a bit. Okay, now I have sewn the whole length of the zipper, and I'm just finishing it off at the top, so I'm going to pass through a couple of times on the same side to secure it. And I'm going to do a couple of loops and some knots to make sure that it's not going anywhere. Bonjour. All done. I'm gonna do the other side and I'll join you back here after. Okay, so finished the jacket. As you can see, stitched both sides like so. This is my first time trying it on, and I'm loving the fit. It is super warm, probably too warm for a day like today, but winter is coming, as they say, very, very soon. And that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in to another video. I wanted to just quickly say, if you have a second, if you could please subscribe to my channel. It really lets me know that these videos are of interest to you, and it will encourage me to keep creating more content, more patterns, more sewing tutorials. I absolutely love sharing my creativity with the world, so let me know that you want to be a part of this and be inspired, and let's create together. I absolutely love it, and I hope you do too. I hope to keep inspiring you, and I'm sure I'll be inspired by you as well when I see the creations made from some of my patterns. So don't forget to check out the pattern links below and subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, all those things. It means the world to me just to receive that feedback. So thank you.